So when I received a call from Dr. Vijay a few weeks back that, hey Ravi, we are having a Poultry India conference and we'd like you to be a speaker there and talking about how do you increase the consumption of chicken in rural India. I said the first thing is, while the name of the ad agency is Egg First, we are not in the poultry business. So the name of our agency is Egg First, and we are into rural marketing. We are not in the poultry business. Having said that, it's a very big honor for us to be here to share a perspective about how do you increase the presence of chicken, the consumption of chicken in rural India. Now, right since morning, I've been lucky to have heard a lot of our speakers before me, and very interesting to see the perspective with which the industry is growing, the challenges of the industry, and so on and so forth. But one thing that I'm sure that all of you agree on, whether you agree on whether the egg came first or chicken, but one thing is sure, that in case the extent to which the demand increases for chicken, the extent to which demand increases for chicken, it will be good for your industry. So let's just straight away dive down into how do we increase the demand for chicken in rural India. I have two parts of this presentation, and I'm going to be rushing through this at an extremely fast pace because I've been told that we have limited time here. So here goes. First part of the presentation is about reach. How do you reach rural India? The second part of the presentation is about connect. How do you connect with rural India? So the reach part already has been covered to a fair degree. So I'm going to be breezing through it. You will find the connect part very interesting. And I do want to spend about 10 minutes on the connect part. So here goes. Okay. So I'm going to skip through a lot of data that you might have already seen. So India ranks in the top 5 in the production. A lot of businesses, a lot of GDP rests on this industry. Our overall per capita consumption of chicken continues to be low. In rural India, it is lower than in urban India, though not by a big margin, only about 10% of a difference. So when rural India starts to consume chicken, more and more chicken, it's not only about the industry gaining, it's also about the overall benefit of health that gets into 60% of our nation's population, and which is 90 crore people. So let's just quickly go through what are the barriers. What are the barriers? Once we understand the barriers, we are likely to be able to better address the barriers to be able to overcome them. Rural mindset is significantly different from an urban mindset. And especially a few factors, which is rural continues to be a family first mindset. They get influenced by communities, not as much as individuals. So they will seek opinion of their neighbors, they will seek opinion of others in various matters. So whether it is about agri inputs, what fertilizer to buy, what pesticide to buy, and so on and so forth. But even other matters, they seek opinion of people who are in and around those. They are very value conscious. So that is the reason why 5 rupees का पैकेट, 10 रुपए का पैकेट आज भी बहुत बिकता है. And it is imperative for brands which are starting off, and we had Sunil Kataria also talking about the 10 rupee sachet of parachute oil. Not only parachute, and that would have been about 10 years back or 15 years back. In addition, even today, you have your shampoo sachets which are 2 rupees and so on and so forth. So rural India is very, very value conscious. The question for us would be, how do we go ahead and despite the lower price points, how do we make it happen? There are knowledge gaps, there are cultural, religious factors, infrastructure challenges, cold chain factors. So how do you drive chicken demand? There are 3 parts. Create awareness, more and more awareness. What is the awareness going to be about? I'm going to cover that specifically in the connect part. Build the trust. So these are now going to be some pointers I'm going to run through in about 4 or 5 slides, which give you a little insight into what happens really in rural India and how can chicken penetrate further in select markets in rural India. And like Sanjay Panigrahi, one of our esteemed speakers earlier mentioned, that you don't have to go into all the 6 lakh villages in India. You have to select which ones. And now when I'm talking about all of this, one thing that we need to remember, a large amount of this outreach or increase in chicken consumption can get driven by a central effort of, let's say, an industry association or some such. There is also going to be another aspect of it, that is it only for an industry association, or can some manufacturers, some chicken producers take this ahead on their own? So one can look at expanding into select markets, whether it is at a block level, whether it is at a district level, or let's say a set of districts, or perhaps even a state. So there are producers, and I know there are large producers who can take up this mandate, which is, okay, I'm going to target a couple of districts, and then most of these strategies would work for them. Farmer producer organizations, so there are FPOs and they are all entrepreneur led. So the question is, how do you build an ecosystem meant for FPOs? How do you build an ecosystem where you're taking the participation of FPOs to promote the consumption of chicken? How do you build together a cold chain ecosystem? So if somebody takes up a mandate that I'm going to be looking after a few, let's say, districts, I'm going to create a complete ecosystem of my brand in a couple of districts, one has to work on this element. Youth. Everybody is talking about the lack of opportunities in rural India, and the migration from rural to urban continues. The aspiration of rural youth has never been higher today. So it is important for us to be able to leverage that aspiration on the one hand and the desire for them to get into meaningful, gainful employment, and on the other hand, use what are the possibilities for us to get them enrolled into chicken businesses. Franchise ecosystems can be set up. Let's say a smart chicken center, a complete franchise ecosystem. Now, this is the aspect that some speakers covered in rural India. It's not only going to be about going and making some amount of communication. How do you make it a habit? So there is Anganwadis which are there. So you have Asha Didi workers. If we create a sustained communication with them, then a sustained consumption of chicken takes place. Community leaders and panchayat push. Now these are all the kind of activities, school level outreach, primary healthcare center promotions. These are the places where one has to go ahead and start the promotion. Now what is the narrative that one does? Weekly hearts, that these are the zones via which sales really happen in rural India. Now, let me get to the connect part. So, what is the connect? We need to change the narrative. Sanjay mentioned narrative. The current narrative, old narrative, chicken is expensive luxury. Dal roti provide all the nutrition. Non-veg food is unhealthy and causes problems. This is the new narrative that we need to be talking about, which is protein means chicken and protein is affordable. Protein means chicken, protein is affordable. Protein means chicken, protein is affordable. Now, just saying this won't help. You have to say it repeatedly. And how do you say it? Well, here goes. I'm going to share with you 3 examples of how the industry took it ahead as an industry together. I repeat, this can be done as an industry together, or it can be done by select players who want to capture a district or a set of districts. So let's say NECC, very close to your industry. How did NECC make egg a daily consumption? The video needs to play.
बेबो का एक ही रूल, रोज खाओ अंडे without भूल.
Cause eggs are cool, cool, cool. Yes, eggs are cool, cool, cool. Summer में energy हो जाती है कम. खाओ अंडे, energetic रहो हरदम. Strength और power मिले हर रोज with proteins and minerals का daily dose. Eggs are cool, cool, cool. Yes, eggs are cool, cool,
संडे हो या मंडे, रोज खाओ अंडे।
Another industry, AMFI, the Association of Mutual Fund Industries. Now, the way they have consistently over the last perhaps 10 years converted the entire Indian retail investor into a routine investor, it's really a case study. And here's a quick one. See the kind of campaigns that make it happen.
धक्का मत दे यार। यार अंधेरी कब आएगा?
2 स्टेशन बाद।
सही है। सुनना, बोनस मिला है। क्या करूं?
म्यूचुअल फंड में डाल दे।
सिर्फ 6,000 का बोनस है यार। क्यों गरीब का मजाक उड़ा रहा है?
भाई 500 रुपये शुरुआत कर सकते हैं, मैंने भी किया है, डाल दे।
अच्छा? सही है यार। 500 रुपए। Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
One more video.
काफी टैलेंटेड है आपकी बेटी।
सर बड़ी होकर इंडिया के लिए खेलना चाहती है। सर उसके फ्यूचर के लिए अभी से मैंने सेविंग भी स्टार्ट कर दी है।
फ्यूचर की बात है तो सर उसे नहीं, आपको भी मैदान में उतरना पड़ेगा।
मुझे?
इनका मतलब है म्यूचुअल फंड्स के मैदान में। सिर्फ सेविंग्स नहीं, हर महीने म्यूचुअल फंड्स में भी इन्वेस्ट कीजिए।
वरना आपकी बेटी तो बड़ी होगी,
पर उसके लिए सेव किए हुए पैसे शायद उतने ही रह जाएंगे।
सही है सर।
शॉर्ट भी सही है।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े।
So one comment I have to make over here, taking a celebrity like a Sachin or a Dhoni or taking both of them together is an expensive proposition. So please, consider taking them or any expensive celebrity as a brand ambassador if and only if you have at least 3 or 4 times the money that you're going to pay to the celebrity as the marketing monies that you have to disseminate the content that you have created. And the last example here, after which I want to share a little bit about the Connect. This is about the Life Insurance Council and how they have promoted life insurance as a category.
अरे लेफ्ट देखो राइट देखो, हाथ थामो ध्यान रखो, पहले फूको फिर चखो, सबसे पहले इंश्योरेंस कर लो। थोड़ा बोलो थोड़ा टोको, नहीं जचता तो फट से रोको, हर कील को पूरा ठोको, सबसे पहले इंश्योरेंस कर लो। जोर से जकड़ो ढंग से पकड़ो, सबसे पहले।
मिस्टर एंड मिसेस कुमार रोजमर्रा की लाइफ में सबसे पहले इंश्योरेंस करते हैं, पर जब लाइफ इंश्योरेंस का पूछो
बाद में करते हैं ना।
सबसे पहले अपनी लाइफ को भी दीजिए ना, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस का भरोसा। सबसे पहले लाइफ इंश्योरेंस।
So now let's get into a quick glimpse of what are the possibilities. We put some amount of effort in putting this together. तो इससे एक झलक मिलेगी कि हम हमारी इंडस्ट्री में, पोल्ट्री इंडस्ट्री में क्या कर सकते हैं। आपने दूसरी इंडस्ट्रीज़ के देखे कैसे उन लोगों ने एक नैरेटिव चेंज किया, धीरे धीरे लोगों को उनसे जोड़ा, उस कैटेगरी से जोड़ा, एंड उसके सारे इंडस्ट्री के जो कंपनीज हैं उन सबको बेनिफिट हुआ। उसी तरीके से नाउ जस्ट लेट्स लुक एट व्हाट आर द पॉसिबिलिटीज फॉर अस। So one is, how about just talk about chicken is protein, chicken is health, chicken is protein, chicken is health. And you run a campaign like this. Chicken khao, sehat banao. Repeatedly, clearly. Keep your value proposition clear. Chicken khao, sehat banao. Another way to look at the same one. Chicken har roz, protein ka mahadose. Chicken har roz, protein ka mahadose. So now you start to get an idea, what are the possibilities that happen. Another one, let's say kitchen में chicken. ज़रूरी है kitchen में chicken होना. कैसे? ऐसे. ज़रूरी है kitchen में chicken. There's a video I'd like to play. A quick 30 seconds. Kitchen में chicken.
जरूरी है किचन में चिकन, मम्मी बोले हेल्थ भी चिकन, पापा का है टेस्ट तो चिकन, प्रोटीन मिले हर किचन से, जरूरी है किचन में चिकन।
these are some kind of campaigns that one can play. I'll give you one more glimpse, last 2 minutes. Achievers, chicken beyond just being protein or chicken, अपने kitchen में आए. At the next level, how do you make it aspirational? सपने सजाओ, चिकन खाओ. प्रोटीन से ताकत, ताकत से तरक्की. चिकन प्रोटीन का महाडोज. आई होप इट स्टार्ट्स टू गिव यू पर्सपेक्टिव, कि कैसे चिकन को एक आम भाषा में, एंड ये रूरल इंडिया में आम भाषा ही समझ में आएगी, बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड भाषा नहीं समझ में आएगी. इंडिया का एम्बिशन चिकन का पोषण. प्रोटीन से ताकत, ताकत से तरक्की. एंड ये सारा you don't have to do it via some big celebrities. See how you can make a nice, simple, digital video. See this. Just play this video.
बेटा, तेरे जाने के बाद घर एकदम सूना हो गया है. अब न सुबह तेरी आवाज आती है, न दरवाजे से वो पूछना, माँ आज लंच में क्या बना है. नया शहर है, नई नौकरी है, सब ठीक तो चल रहा है ना. पर बेटा, ऑफिस और काम के चक्कर में अपना ख्याल रखना मत भूलना. समय पर खाना खा लेना और फ्रिज में कुछ ढंग का रख लेना. सिर्फ कोला और बर्गर से पेट नहीं भरता, बॉडी में ताकत भी ज़रूरी है और उसके लिए खाने में प्रोटीन भी ज़रूरी है. ज़्यादा जंक फूड मत खाना. कभी दिल करे तो चिकन बना लेना. चिकन तो तुझे कितना पसंद है. याद है जब भी तू उदास होता था, मैं चिकन करी बनाती थी, तू तुरंत खुश हो जाता था. अब जब भी मन करे या उदास लगे तो खुद से बना लेना तेरी फेवरेट चिकन करी. रेसिपी मैंने साथ भेजी है. बस थोड़ा मसाला, थोड़ा प्याज और चिकन, बिल्कुल घर जैसा स्वाद आएगा. अजनबी शहर में अकेला है तू, अपना ख्याल रखना मत भूलना. और हाँ, चिकन खाना मत भूलना.
Thank you. So lot of beautiful things can be done, on chicken. I think अगर किसी भी तरीके से हम जाकर के इस टाइप की मैसेजिंग करके गांव-गांव तक पहुंचते हैं, डेफिनेटली चिकन की डिमांड बढ़ेगी. एंड चिकन की डिमांड बढ़ेगी तो किसी ना किसी तरीके से एवरीबडी इन द होल इकोसिस्टम विल बेनिफिट. एंड लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, एक स्लाइड कि रूरल मार्केट्स में सेलिब्रिटी इज नॉट जस्ट एन एंडोसर, दे आर अ ट्रू एंकर. तो कभी कभी सेलिब्रिटी लेना, या जैसे संजय प्रेजेंटेड, वी हैड वन लेडी हु हैज़ नाउ 14.5 मिलियन फॉलोअर्स, यानी 1.5 करोड़ फॉलोअर्स है. शी इज़ इनटू kitchen cooking and so on so forth, culinary, and she had about 9.5 million followers when we had invited her for our own Chalo Rural Conclave. So some of these guys can do a lot of good. But again, like I said, if you are contemplating bringing on a brand ambassador on board, please look at the overall budget and make sure that no more than 20% of your budget is allocated towards a celebrity. I think that's all. Thank you very much. Thank you.